Okay, so welcome to a very special episode. This is episode 10 of the PM Hive Podcast. To really commemorate the episode 10, which feels like it's time to really celebrate, both the new year as January 2026, I got my co-leads of PM Hive. I got Divya and I got Sarim. So it's super exciting. We're going to be mainly talking about our journey career of both mainly community building, how that's improved our career and our journeys in that and what we liked most. And I have some specific questions related to you, Sarim, about it, as well as you, Divya. But before I jump in, and obviously for myself, but before I jump in, wanted to quickly have everyone introduce ourselves. I've already done a lot of the talking, so I'll pass it over to one of y'all. Let's quickly give an introduction and then pass it back to me, and then let's get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Divya Rakhiani. I am one of the co-founders of PM Hive and I work for a startup called Roofer. And we are in Vancouver right now.
Yeah, we are in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something I should have mentioned, but we're in Vancouver. And community building in Vancouver is a little bit different than larger cities.
Yeah.
A little bit more in like reclusiveness in Vancouver, and that's a very different, unique culture that we've navigated over the last 2 years.
So many words, just say hard.
Oh yeah,
It's hard. It's hard. And yeah, Sarim, if you want to quickly introduce yourself too.
yeah, absolutely. So my name's Sarim. My background's actually in cybersecurity, and I got into product management later. I've been with PM Hive for about 2 years now. Been helping to organize for about a year and a half. Started my own community, White Hat Security, shortly afterwards, but we'll get more into that later. And pleasure to be on this podcast.
No, it's awesome to have you. Yeah.
Yeah, look at us going bigger.
Look at us going
Look at
big.
the studio,
Look at us
dude.
going
It's
big.
so bougie.
So for context, before like just letting everyone know in the audience is that we've recorded the first 9 episodes. Usually we bootstrap the heck out of them, right? In what was the old Mozilla office in Vancouver, and then Mozilla decided to not renew the lease of that place. There's not a lot of people going in, so it's just easy for us to lean on Steven, the senior PM there, to like just let us in access and host everything. Then I tried to host an episode back in my own home and realized it's just too hard to set up with Sam. So we kind of cut some of those episodes, like plans out for the rest of the 2025, but navigated a really nice deal here, and we got to really record something awesome here in the Old Town podcast studio. So thank you so much, Tamir, for letting us host at the space. But yeah, really going back to our community building aspect of this conversation, and just you know what, I should probably introduce myself too. Kasey Fu,
That's a good idea.
one of the co-founders of PM Hive, senior PM, have around 5 to 10 years of experience in product management, have really kind of grown into space in the community space in Vancouver. It's been super challenging, obviously, because like there's a lot to learn about this city, a lot to learn about both online and in-person community building that just you never gotten to have to navigate or get to experience until you actually start setting up events for people here. I think the first question I kind of want to just ask the both of you, and then I'll probably add some more value there too, is like, what has the journey of building PM Hive been so far over the last like year and a half that we've done this together? Like community space, the tech space, and finding that convergence has not been easy. So just wanted to get your thoughts on that first and foremost.
I think it's been 2 years, yes. In February, at least, I'll finish 2 years with PM Hive. I think professionally, this is my biggest support. Tomorrow, like if I have like a question or I have people to reach out, or if I think I do not have a skill that I need to learn, I for sure will rely on people more than AI. So those are big words right now. And I mean, in the past 2 years, like I can actually count people on my fingers who have actually helped me professionally. It can be as small as like, ramping up my resume to as big as actually doing a mock interview with me while I was trying to navigate job change. And in the last 2 years, job market has been like, it's been garbage.
That's just so bad.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And I navigated. I got a job switch within that market, and I was like, "Whoa, this wasn't possible without the support that I had from the community," and vice versa as well. Like while building as well, we have met so many people who are not product managers, like project managers, designers, co-founders, people who have just jumped into see what PM Hive is about. All those connections have only led to the community being bigger. Like adding 2,000 people last year because of the DMI. Whoa, That was a
Yeah.
big achievement. And that was just because word of mouth. It's not like, there are not other communities in Vancouver. Something about PM Hive, the way that we have scaled in the last 2 years has really done some good.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah. And what about you, Sarim?
Ooh, it's
It's a
yeah,
tough one,
for
hey?
me, it's honestly, it's been one of the most meaningful parts of my life here in Vancouver, and also one of the most rewarding and surprising too. It's so actually, and I was telling someone this story the other day, is that the first networking event that I went to was in a bar somewhere just outside of downtown, and I ended up going there as an introvert. I walked in, I looked at the place, and
You walked out.
30 seconds later, I walked out. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to network. Yeah, and then like a few months later, I ended up finding one of PM Hive's events, and this was the third coffee chat that PM Hive was hosting, and I instantly just loved the vibe. It was in of course, that
Veloce Cafe.
coffee shop, Cafe Super Veloce.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt different. It felt warm. It felt human, and I didn't feel like people were performing too much. Plus, I could actually hear people talk. So yeah, it was very different. And then from there, I started attending those events regularly, on a monthly basis. Started showing up, started making friends at PM Hive too. And then slowly went from attendee energy to helper energy as well. And one small moment that sticks out for me is there were, I think there was a bit of a name tag situation at one of the events, and I seem to remember from one of my previous events that name tags do come in handy sometimes. So I had some on me, and I sort of just coordinated with I think it was Neda at the time to just distribute those. And then I think sort of that's got the ball rolling, and then but then it is like small acts like that usually get these sorts of movements going. And then of course, over time, you and I got closer too. I remember bonding over a Vampire Weekend concert, getting some Korean fried chicken dinners, and starting that friendship as well. And then,
come on, you're forgetting me.
Yeah, don't worry, Divya will bring you next time.
Like-
you're coming. You're
like,
coming.
You're real close, and I was like, okay.
I remember getting to you, going chronologically. Of course, meeting Divya. Again, such positive, warm energy, and I feel like you had the PM Hive spirit, since the beginning, and amongst the panel discussions and some of the other events that you did, like it was very clear that you have the talent as well as the community leaning to in order to be able to contribute and help us. So and then since then the journey's been a lot of experimenting, learning and listening to people, doing some A/B testing in some situations. We tried adding some light structure. Topics came into the coffee chats a
Cue
bit
cards
later
and all that stuff.
when exactly, the discussion cards. And then eventually Kahoots too, and
Karaoke's.
That as well. There was I forgot about that. Actually, thank you for reminding me. The PM Hive karaoke event.
I remember that. Yeah, so it's like playing with like more social stuff rather than like professional stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Kasey, what have been your highlight points in the last 3 years? I mean, you obviously were like, you have been here
Mm.
since inception, but like if you had to give me like your top 3 highlight memories of PM Hive building, what would they be?
The top 3, the first one that comes to mind is one of our good friends, Sam Warren, coming to me and saying that he actually found, he is now a senior PM at Ada, but back then I think he just came here with his wife from France,
Yeah.
and they were like networking around, and they came to PM Hive, and he found a connection from one of our PM Hive events in June 2024, and through that connection at Lululemon found a product consulting role at Lululemon after, because of that PM Hive connection.
Wow.
So that actually, and he brought me out for coffee, and I was like, thank you. Like I think that was one of the biggest memories. The second one probably has to be I think it was like the mini conferences we hosted, PM Buzz, I think it's 4.0, where the 3 of us did it for the first time together.
Yeah.
And it just felt like, before there was a little bit less stability in like the way we were doing it. We were still experimenting. There was still like a lot of stuff that had to, like first one, the second one, there's a lot of like hiccups we did, like either like planning or like at the event itself. But it felt like that fourth one I think we did finally together felt like it all just came together.
Absolutely.
Like the 3 of us was a team.
Right.
So there's that. And then finally the third one is, honestly, I think it's more so like when we have coffee chats, and this isn't just one single thing, but this is just like a constant thing I'm starting to realize now, is when we host our monthly coffee chats, we have people of all different backgrounds joining our events and having heard about us. I don't know if I told you two, but I went to Toronto and I hosted a PM Hive event in Toronto. I promise you that's the only reason why I wanted to go to Toronto.
Right? We believe you.
Sure. Yeah.
I had 2 people tell me they heard of PM Hive, and they're in freaking Toronto, right? Like, what the heck? So I thought that it's pretty cool that we actually had a little bit more of not just like a Vancouver presence, but it felt like we were simply growing, and there was true value. And I see value in both the pragmatic side, like, oh, we get connections, we get to grow a network, we get to learn. But then there's also the emotional, social aspect,
Right.
which is I get to form emotional and social bonds with these people, form friends with out of PM Hive, as well as form like, validation, support systems out of PM Hive, like
Right.
imposter syndrome and all that stuff. So that probably has to be like my top 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the core memories I have from everything that we have hosted for so far is the conference we had in Brain Station. I cannot tell you after that event, like I can tell you PM Hive before that and after that.
Yeah.
The number of people who have reached out to me after that event, and our sponsorship. How can you forget that? That was like one of the most highlighting points of the PM Hive journey, that we started to get sponsorship from other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Was-
that was because of, our mini conferences. But yeah.
The PM Horror Stories.
Yes.
event,
Horror
right?
Stories,
Yeah.
that was a
good.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, another question I had for the both of you is just more so like, do you feel like community building over the last few years has helped your professional life in a lot of ways? I think Divya, you've touched on a little bit, like it definitely helped with you lean on it a lot from a support system perspective.
Yep.
If you want to maybe dive in a little bit more about how that's really helped you in your life, and maybe you, Sarim, as well.
So like just 1 year into PM Hive, like it's not like, there are not other PM communities in Vancouver. Definitely there are, like, but a year into PM Hive, what I realized is like, you see a lot of repeat faces, and a lot of people have started to open up just about the fact that they do struggle. They, struggle comes through when, they want to network, or they're wanting to learn something new. Specifically, people also who are wanting to transition into PM Hive, like the initial impression PM Hive had in the market was, okay, if you're navigating a career into the product manager role, go talk to these people. So that's exactly what we started with. So nobody, looked at us from a perspective of, okay, experienced PM would come here.
Yeah.
Or, it's basically for like, do you want to do product management? So go talk to them. Or you're new, or you're associate product manager. So this is your community, because they'll make you speak to other people.
That's true.
Right? So that was
100%.
our first year. Come second year, what I realize is the more you talk to people and the more they refer you forward, like, like through your newsletter or through the community events that we have been hosting. Now we have a very healthy ratio, right? Almost 50-50.
Yep.
So this is where it helped me the most. Initially, I was the one who was struggling because I was new as a PM. So I had a clan of people who were like me, who were trying to, solve the problems that I was solving,
Mm.
trying to talk tools, trying to talk, are the processes working for you or not?
Mm.
Now I'm on the other side. So I'm trying to help those people, but I'm also like talking to other senior PMs who are now into like, is this the right thing to build? Is this the
Yeah.
right way to build? Or are we even investing in the right thing? So all those questions, now I'm on the other side. So it has helped me answer. And this is a natural conversation. Nothing is forced.
Right.
Because, our coffee chats are generally around a certain topic.
Yeah.
But is it that, people don't talk about other things? It is a very natural flow of
I
conversation.
think so too.
So that way, it has only added, because when I go back to office,
Yeah.
it's like I'm always updated. So, have you tried this?
Yeah, have you
Like, how
tried
do you
that?
know? What
Learned
do you
it from
read?
a Saturday
Yeah.
at Develop Coffee.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is where I know from, because, there's no extra effort. I do not log into other newsletters because who has the time right now?
Yeah.
But those conversations keep you going, because some or the other person is either talking about like the new thing they are trying, the new course they are doing, or the new thing they are trying to learn.
Yeah.
And, it's just you be there and immerse yourself.
Sarim, Divya and I have been on this podcast before, so I
Yeah.
want to give you a quick shout out since this is your first time on this
Yeah.
pod. People have been like, they probably happy to see Divya again. They're probably annoyed of seeing my face all the time on this pod. But I actually want to understand, because Divya gave like her thoughts on like why like PM community life and PM Hive has like benefited her career. Curious about how that's helped you.
Oh, I definitely, what you're saying definitely resonates with me about, staying, this being a way to keep a finger on the pulse of the industry, and, product management as an industry relate to that for sure. I think for me, so communities helped my professional life, well, in a lot of ways, some of which are hard to quantify, because it hasn't just been networking, and of course some of the social effects, and some of the effects in terms of the way that I connect with people have paid dividends in my professional life too. But yeah, having the opportunity to connect with so many people, and so many good people, people that I can look to for advice, people that I can bounce ideas off of, and of course that in itself opening up so many other opportunities, right? And yeah, also I think making Vancouver feel a bit more like home. I think just having that network and having people that you can connect to has that effect, and of course that does have an effect on your professional life. When you're new somewhere, and I've been here for about 3 years. It can sometimes feel like everyone's got their own circles, and Vancouver especially has a bit of a reputation in that regard, and that's where communities like this can really help people to break the ice and kind of break into social circles and connect and put down roots. Yeah, and then I'd say one more way that it's helped is I think a bit more directly with my job is hosting and organizing and doing that in a self-motivated way, and taking ownership of something like that. In some ways even treating the community itself like a product, iterating, getting getting feedback
Wednesday
from
stand-ups.
the community members. Exactly.
Yeah.
It between that and also all the communication and facilitation, making sure people feel seen, and keeping an eye out for what people are looking for and what helps people connect.
Right.
I think those are in some ways product skills themselves, right?
Right.
So yeah, even things like just being able to be more confident, in interacting with people, and being more self-assured about opinions or
Getting validation, right?
yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's been very helpful in a lot of different ways, I'd say.
You said that you've been here for 3 years, Vancouver. Divya, how long have you been in Vancouver
7
for?
years now.
7 years. Okay, you have the longest tenure in this city out of all cities.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to quickly ask you, do you find Vancouver to be a very exclusive, cliquey place? And do you find it very hard to join a lot of community events here?
Joining community events is not hard, though, people showing up to them is a different story.
Oh, that's a whole different story.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but it does have a reputation where, people, plan to meet up but do not meet up, or the conversations do not go farther than the weather. So, relationship lasts as long as the rain is what they say.
Yeah, 100%.
So-
Right.
I find that the most difficult part, I think, with the first 15, or even now, honestly, what do you mean 15? What am I saying? I think even now, if it was a rainy day, it's heavy rain and it's gray and cloudy, and it's even though it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday, I still worry sometimes that people are not just going to show up to our events. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just, there's better things to do, stay at home with their partners or just, play with their dog and whatever it is. So I still worry sometimes, just constantly, are people going to show up? And usually these worries dissipate the moment I realize that people are showing up to our events.
And repeat faces.
And repeat
that
faces,
is
yeah.
what the most heartwarming part about the month-end meetups is. When I see the same people and I'm like, wow, we must be doing something right.
Absolutely, and especially especially when the weather isn't right. You think twice before
Yeah.
stepping outside your
twice.
home, and of course, the people that do actually make it, a big. I have major appreciation for them because they're putting in that effort to connect with people socially, and especially when it's tough and when the winter blues can kind of get
100%.
people down and kind of drag them down.
Yeah.
I got a quick question for all three of us before I go into more individual questions, but just more so just thinking about how we grew PM Hive from the ground up and then trying to scale it up as not just the de facto PM Vancouver product management, program management, project management community for Vancouver, but how can we make sure that we're we build trust in the community, people want to keep coming to our events, how do we scale, all that sort of stuff. Do you think that we've done a great job so far of growing PM Hive from the ground up? And because I'm wondering to myself, I think because I also have a lot of doubts to myself sometimes that maybe we might not be doing enough, but I'm always happy when we're finding routine with our coffee chats, hey, the monthly chats, also quarterly, we're still booking Northeastern to do some sort of mini conference. We're doing a workshop occasionally. It takes a lot of effort, right? And growing the community from the ground up just felt so rewarding to see.
It is.
To see everything from just what we've done. So it feels contradictory to what I'm saying is it also feels there's a lot of fulfillment from seeing our efforts from the ground up.
Let us validate you.
Maybe I'm going on a tangent.
Hold on. We have facts.
Man,
we
I'm
have
just
facts.
talking through my heart, deeply what I think.
Yeah.
And
We hear you.
Yeah.
No. Let's talk facts. Okay, Kasey, what is your newsletter open rate?
It's I think it's 60 something percent right now. It used to be in the 70s.
Right.
Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. But
Right.
yeah.
And whenever we hold mini conferences that are paid, what is the average number of bookings do we get?
I think around 60, 70-ish, something like that.
And how many people turn up?
Usually 60 to 80% of them.
Exactly. And is it weather dependent?
No.
Yeah. And for the coffee chats that we have hosted over the last 18 months, I would say regularly,
Yeah.
How many people have on average actually turned up for coffee chats? What is the minimum number that we have had?
Pretty good amount.
No, I'll ask Sarim that question.
Oh,
I'd
actually,
say
yeah, it's
about,
good call.
I think 20 at the very least, and
Yes,
that's when
exactly.
I've maybe not been the most proactive with posting events.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely managed to get at least 20, and I think at our biggest one we had about 60 or 70 people in
right.
the cafe.
Yeah. I mean, that business should thank us. Actually, they do.
So they
Yeah.
do, but of course we thank them way more, and the management there, because they've been very supportive of both PM Hive as well as White Hat security events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just not to brag, our PM Hive post page actually gets upward of 10,000 impressions now.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I showed you a screenshot.
Oh, yeah, you did. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So our LinkedIn game is strong. So I mean, I don't have doubts that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's just that we need to do the right things more often is where we are at.
Yeah,
So-
That's true.
We just have to do the right things more often, 100%.
It's it definitely helps that we have you
Oh,
on
yeah,
board
yeah.
now to help us. For a
That's-
while there, it was just the two of us, but I think in my experience, it's just been, yes, at times it's been messy, right? Like we're all doing this in our kind of free time, and it's not a full-time job for any of us, but yeah, we've iterated, we've tested, we've gotten feedback, we've refined, we've gotten a lot of support along the way. Everything from Stephen working on the
All those
on the
podcast episodes?
those
Yeah,
initial
yeah.
podcast episodes, and I still remember him like going through the audio and like cleaning it up, and of course,
Yeah.
our designer working on the
logo,
banners
The
and
banner, yeah.
and a lot of the other sort of stuff that we've created, like the sign stands and those sorts of things.
Right. And people putting up posts for PM Hive events after they go back.
Mm.
Every time they do that, I feel so overjoyed, and I'm like, we did something right in the event.
Mm. Do you do the two of you feel like there's any like kind of tools of the trade or tips and tricks or like learning lessons you've gathered from like trying to build a community in such a cliquey place like Vancouver? Maybe it's like trying to fight the rain or experiment with like different ideas for events. I see
Yes.
Sarim nodding his
yeah,
head. He's
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about.
Okay, so this has been
In the last year, yes, I would say
You've
yes.
experimented the most, I feel like, out of
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
us.
I want to hear what Divya has to say, but so this particular topic, like I feel like at some point I need to make a formula of how many,
A
how
whole
much
playbook.
attendance
Yeah.
there will be for a given event based off of all of the factors, including weather, including like at what point we post, too soon, too early. There's a bit of an optimal point for that too.
Like posting the event online.
Right.
Right.
Exactly,
right.
posting on Luma, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and so on.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that I've found that I was referring to earlier was the icebreakers. So when we started, and this was also based off of community feedback
Right.
as well, that when we started introducing topics,
Mhm.
that can be something that helps people who aren't necessarily comfortable with just networking,
Yeah.
to have something to focus on. And then the discussion cards that we did for a little while, and then the Kahoots, which also sort of get the energy up, along with at least at our coffee chats, for example,
Yeah.
and at the PM Horror Stories event and other events, helps people to get into a space mentally where it's easier for them to connect. And yeah, that is, I think, the formula that I'm still trying to crack fully, but I feel like we're getting there.
Right.
But what are your thoughts?
I think
Divya?
in the last year specifically, the kind of feedback I had from people, I think one of the things I've learned is, or I'm still trying to figure out, is how to ease the conversation around, asking for referrals in a networking event. Like we need to drop the shame related to it. Though some people have like given us very good feedback, like, we keep posting jobs in our newsletter and we talk openly about it, like, this company is hiring, etc. But say I met you at the networking event for the first time, what are the chances that I will not break ice with you asking for a referral? Like very low, right? Because I made an effort to show up, spend 2 hours, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm looking for a job, I might as well ask for a referral. But
Yeah.
then in a networking event, to drop the shame around that conversation is something which is tricky, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm still figuring out how to ease it for people. Like one of the things I learned last year is like, even if I'm not able to help, I can put you in touch with somebody who can help and like connect the dots so that it's like, less intimidating to then not sugarcoat your words and just generally ask for a referral,
Yeah.
which is fine. I mean, you are joining a community, you ought to take something and give something.
Right.
But dropping the shame around the conversation is what.
Being transparent, right?
Yeah, that. And I mean, offering mentorship. Like, I often say to other people, it's okay if you're coming to the community and you want to learn something, but you also have to share something. So I mean, pick your mentees. It's everybody wants to learn something new, and it could be a good bond as well. Like, take away the bond, like, professionally as well, could blossom into a beautiful friendship. Why stop at professional?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's actually true. I actually want to one thing that I feel like I was originally worried about from some of our coffee chat events was sometimes before the Kahoot became a thing, sometimes I would see maybe a few people, the odd people out who just stood on the side holding a cup of coffee, weren't really engaging with everyone else who had found their circles. And sometimes it's kind of hard for a lot of the folks at our events to just excuse themselves from the conversation to keep going around and networking around. And then you have the folks on the side who are just I'm too shy, don't know how to break in. Hey, do you mind joining? It's really hard to always kind of just break into a lot of conversations. I'm not saying that it fully solved it, but one thing that at least helped spread a lot of engagement was the Kahoot quiz. And I don't know how, you gotta walk me through how you decided to just start doing that. It's actually helpful. I don't know if it I don't know if it obviously helps with the full connecting people aspect, but it definitely makes it so that there's something exciting to look forward to, something that people know is going to happen at the event,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it breaks the ice. It gets people into that slightly fun competitive state, which along with the caffeine and the
on
sugar
a Saturday morning.
on a Saturday morning, exactly, with the Saturday or weekend sort of mindset, I think those sorts of things do really help. And the Kahoot, I actually have to give credit to one of my managers back at KPMG, and she was the one who got me into Kahoots. And I still remember this one I did about data privacy. But then I'd been sort of considering it for a while. It was just something that seemed logistically a bit of a challenge. How do you do a Kahoot?
I was like, what do you do? and you know what this guy did? He brought in a projector into the coffee shop. I'm like, of course. It makes total sense.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. I think my dumbass thought we had to bring in a whole whiteboard or something. Or I don't know what was happening. Or everyone's just gonna look out of the largest laptop whoever can bring it.
No, and thanks again to the venue, of course, DeVille Coffee over at the Post building, and Shirley, the manager there, she's been really supportive of all of our at times slightly disruptive antics. So yeah,
even the conversation cards have been great. Initially when we did it 2 times, people were really into, okay, I want to know about AI. Remember the second conversation we had?
Right.
I was like, wow, this is working.
I remember there was one event, I think only a few months ago, where we were trying to print something last minute. We had to go print it or something. What was that?
I was standing at the printer shop and the guy's like, what weirdo. She's printing yellow pages with some random questions on it on a Saturday morning.
Right.
So
yeah.
funny.
The discussion cards, and thank you for saving me that
I have
time.
an incentive to support your crazy ideas, right? We need to keep this going.
Indeed. I personally I'm still a bit undecided about whether those cards are helpful, and it'd be great to hear from people if they did find it helpful. It does take a little bit more work than the Kahoot does, just in terms of printing them,
absolutely,
cutting them up, and all of that.
Which one of us is buying a printer then?
Yeah, 100%. Maybe I'll have to just buy the printer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, quick question for you, Sarim. While you were helping me build PM Hive with Divya together, you decided to start White Hat, right? So do you mind maybe telling the audience about what White Hat is real quick and why you decided to start in the first place?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. prepare for a rant. Right. So White Hat Security community. That actually came from noticing a bit of an opportunity in terms of events in the cybersecurity space in Vancouver.
Okay.
Because Vancouver has a lot of really great communities when it comes to cybersecurity, a lot of which you'll find on some of my event pages too.
Yeah.
But it was also a little bit of borrowing and sort of wanting the same energy that I was seeing for the PM Hive coffee chats for the cybersecurity space. And I was like, the closest thing that we have to that is Van City Sec, and I really, really like the energy there. That's a meetup that happens every month at a bar downtown. And, honestly, love the energy, big fan of the organizers. But then I noticed that some people weren't, because I was promoting that event and all the other cybersecurity events in Vancouver, I noticed that some people weren't as comfortable with the bar vibe for networking.
Yeah.
And then some people, like me, don't have much of a volume when it comes to their voice.
Bars are like loud too, right?
Yeah.
Like just
and
like
it
I
can
can't
be
fathom.
exactly so bit tough to hear at times. Depending on the venue, of course.
Yeah.
And
until how many drinks can you hold the professional conversation for?
I was swearing like 3 beers in, I'm already swearing. Like, yeah.
That
like,
too.
my boss, you know him? No, I don't know him.
That too, absolutely. But that I feel like sometimes can actually be a positive, and that people start connecting, on a deeper level.
It's called trauma bonding.
Exactly. Yeah. After a few pitchers of beer, that tone does change and for the better, in my opinion. But then because I was hosting these, it had been, I think, 5 months hosting the PM Hive coffee chats, and I was like, what if we do this but for cybersecurity? And that's where the idea for White Hat Security came in. And I still remember talking to everyone around me at the time about it, including yourself, Kasey. And I remember how much support I got just based off of the idea of just starting something and just trying it out. I talked to quite a lot of people. If I start mentioning names, it's going to take over the whole podcast. So I'm gonna maybe leave that for a different time. And so it started with developing, branding and just developing the idea for it. And of course, I got a lot of support with the branding side of things too. Shout out to the designer. And so there, I also wanted to make it clear from the outset that, this is not a community that is trying to compete with other cybersecurity communities. If anything, is to supplement what the amazing work that's already being done in this space. And so in that, towards that end, I actually reached out to a lot of the current community organizers, and that's where I got a lot of support too.
Right.
So I actually wanted to quickly point out, competition. When I started building PM Hive with you two, I did notice that obviously there was a little bit of resistance from some people, right?
Right.
And now there's I ended up just categorizing them into 2 themes. One is just we're hosting the event during their time, their event, and we're competing for attendees. That's one thing. Except for me, I'm there's less of an incentive for us to really push back about it because we're not making any money. We're not really charging for most of this stuff.
Correct.
But for them, it's their whole livelihood, their whole career is just making money off of these events, right? And then number 2 is more so just I don't know if it's just a pessimistic pushback about, hey, we don't need another one of this in Vancouver sort of attitude. That isn't I don't know if really it's worth obviously entertaining as much. But yeah, Divya, do you feel there's competition that really isn't as necessary? Or do you feel competition is healthy in community building?
It is. Also, I'll borrow from what you said a while ago. when your club grows or what your community grows, people also grow with you. Like, the way that you deal with things, the way you organize, people you get on board, people you interact with, they keep changing. Look at us, like in the last 2 years, do you think it's the same audience over and over again? No, it differs, right? So yeah, some club could be or sub community could be our competition today. They might not be our competition tomorrow. Some other community might be. So that evolution is a part, and I think that kind of community competition is healthy.
It's healthy.
Because it keeps you on your toes, saying, okay, they have already experimented with workshop. What else can we do?
Yeah.
Right? And, it's not about ticketing the event so much as in getting the quality of people on board. So
you're right.
that's what we decided, right? Like the last year, that we'll focus on the kind of people who turn up rather than just being focused on ticketing our events.
Absolutely. I completely agree in that it sparks creativity, that, hopefully friendly competition.
Yeah.
100%. And that is, what makes each community unique is the people that are organizing them and their unique take on what sort of events the community or Vancouver needs in that space. I do want to sort of, on my end, maybe frame it a little bit differently in terms of framing it as friendly competition, if anything, but also more cooperative, maybe a bit more of a cooperative leaning.
Rather than like we're competing for people.
Exactly, because we're in the end we're all working towards the same goal, is to bring Vancouver to a higher level, in whether it's in regards to PM or in my case, like in the case of white hat security, cybersecurity. And then it's just the goal is just to make it easier for good people to find each other, to share knowledge and feel like they belong in the industry or break into the industry. And we don't necessarily need to be the loudest person in the room, but we do need our voice to be heard.
Let me just take off my PC hat for a second, just like rant for like a few minutes, okay? Like,
all right,
just to add into what you two are saying, like when we were growing PM Hive over the last year, there's been some resistance from people about like, oh, like we're the new PM community, like, and they're not gonna be much of anything, and or like, hey, you're competing for the tickets for my people who are hosting an event for the same time as us.
Right.
Like, why are you doing that? Can you move your event to another date? Right? All this sort of stuff. And I'm just like thinking in my head, like, why do we have competition in the community space? I think it's healthy and it's community. You know what I mean? Like, I think I always approached it a little bit differently from the get-go, which is why I was surprised when I got resistance sometimes. Maybe it's just I think maybe I'm just in my immaturity in approaching this problem, but the fact that like we're just trying to add value to the community proves in and of itself should not be competitive. Like that's like, I think the nature of community building should just try to, like obviously I think there's the nature of fighting for attendees and memberships and whatnot. But we're not an exclusive club of customers where you're signing up for a contract. This is not B2B SaaS.
Right.
Where like you're signed a 1-year contract with us. Like that's not how it works. Just come to our events, go to their events, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
Be part of multiple communities.
Yeah, be a part of multiple communities. Like I don't understand. Like so, and we can cross-pollinate. We can work with other communities, just have events together. Like I honestly never really fully understood the competitive nature of it. I think it's healthy, obviously, to see it as competition sometimes, to make sure that we keep innovating on event ideas and to find ways to retain people. Because sometimes there are like people who show up for the first time, they didn't really like it, right? And then they'll maybe like go to like, let's say to like Product BC or something, and they maybe stick with Product BC events, right? But I want to like also just like shout out, like call out that ultimately, I think it's important to like not lose vision of the fact that like community building should be competition friendly. It should not.
Exactly.
You should never resist against someone who just wants to host a community event, especially if it's free. And the community builders are putting time and effort to just do it. You know what I mean? So anyways, rant over. But
Good
I
just
have a
rant.
question
Good
for
rant.
you both though,
Okay.
because I mean, so out of the three of us, you both have built a community from scratch. You PM Hive and your White Hat community, right? So say tomorrow, like from other community, somebody stands up and says, "Hey, can you help me build a community of my own?" It's not product management, maybe it's not your cybersecurity. So what would you tell that person? Say just tell me 5 things you would tell them that this is what they need to build a community from scratch.
Sarim, I don't know if you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think, you're more OG when it comes to community building. So
I
you go
wrote like
first.
this whole Medium article and Substack article about the playbook. I had this idea in mind about like a whole community building playbook
Yeah.
about like what the do's and don'ts of community building for the first time. So I'm maybe gonna kind of copy paste out of that article. But I think the biggest thing is find a niche for something. There's always going to be a topic of something. Now, if that person already has a topic in mind, I will encourage them to like kind of dig a little bit deeper into the topic that they want to host a community event for. Like if it can be like, for example, it can be about sports, it can be about fashion, it can be about tech, it can be about anything, right?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. But then
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're able to maybe dig one level deeper into a subcategory of that space, you will be able to find community members who are able to like add that level of deepness and depth into the topic. So that's step one. Step two would obviously be like evaluate the landscape. Pick just one single platform that you can promote out of. Picking multiple different platforms, you start like stretching thin. Like it's a little bit more difficult to manage. Pick one single platform that you think that the target audience that you want people to come to your events are going to come to that platform to find your event. And then see what happens, right? And like keep experimenting. I always tell people like start off very simple and casual. Like start off with just like a basic coffee meetup or like a bar meetup, something very basic and casual, such that the inclusivity is really easy. There's a lower barrier to entry. And it's also just easier for you to manage. If you're trying to host like a crazy workshop as the first event you're hosting, well, good luck. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
You got to build up to it.
Too many logistics.
Too many logistics that you're not going to learn until later down the road.
Yeah.
You got volunteers that you need. You got to cater food. You got like a time, event management, agenda, reach out to speakers, host a panel. It's pretty tough actually, to be honest, especially if this is not your full-time gig, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I recommend just start small, focus on like a relatively more niche topic if you can, because you will get more depth out of it for your people as well. If it's like, let's say if I'm hosting a community, if I build a new community and it's just called, the sports community, like what the frick? Like what sport is it, right? Oh, it's the soccer community. Okay, but like that's still kind of like you can still dig a
Very
little bit
generic,
deeper.
yeah.
So just a little bit more deeper in depth. Now I can't say the same, like obviously like I think for PM Hive we're trying to attract both not just product but program and project, so we're not as in depth, we're a little bit more in breadth, but I think we try to cater for the depth with the topics that we introduce in our coffee chats
And the guest who we call over.
and that too, and the topic of our mini conferences, right? Like we had one that was horror stories, we had one about imposter syndrome, we had one about, what was the other one about? AI, I think, obviously, and then a few others.
Then we had just a specific panel about careers on one of our mini conferences, right?
Yes, that too. The TPM versus project versus
Correct.
product. Yeah.
Like the breadth of all the product managers you can cover.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do another one like certifications.
Yes.
Is another
Oh,
one.
yeah.
It's been on the
Big
list since
topic.
It's
last
been on
year.
the list. We
Big
got to get
topic.
to it for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, rant over. I'll let you speak, Sarim. But like
Yeah.
I think that was how I would get started.
I think you pretty much I definitely can't put it as eloquently as that. So I think all I'm gonna say is so my advice to someone who's looking to start a community would just be do it. And do it ethically.
Important. Yeah.
do it ethically.
Do it ethically, do it inclusively. And sometimes in this process it can be a bit overwhelming, considering all of the factors. There's a lot of iteration. Don't be afraid to kind of reach out and ask for help, ask for support. Just like Kasey said, right? Start with the smallest version of it and then build from there, right? You don't need to do it all at once. And then also there's a bit of an element maybe from personal experiences, caring about it. And of course, care is what takes the community beyond a certain level, but also without taking it personally.
That's
at
true.
times, right? So sometimes, and we all feel it, right? Sometimes turn out as low, or sometimes an idea doesn't quite work out the way that it's supposed to, or, sometimes there can be tension between people. And what matters the most, I think, in these cases is consistency rather than intensity. And, what is this, our 28th coffee chat coming up soon?
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's
I want to say, like, we've made a lot of mistakes over the past 3 years almost, like, of like community building. Like our first PM Buzz event, I don't know if I told y'all, but like it was so hard. Like every speaker went over the 20-minute limit. And then I ended up having to cut the networking time short for that one. And then everyone gave me feedback like, yo, like we got like 30 minutes of network and that was it. And then we had to get ushered out. So just like iterating after iteration after iteration, trying out maybe not 4 speakers, maybe 3 speakers, right? And then maybe 2 speakers in a panel, or maybe 1 guest speaker in a panel. Like just
and more time for Q&A.
More time for
That
Q&A.
we learned very hard way.
More buffer time between events too, giving time for people to like quickly take a break, go to the washroom, or like all that sort of stuff like panned out. And I remember like during our recent PM Buzz event, I think one thing that we finally did really well in that event compared to the previous events was just everything was on time.
Exactly.
Everything. I was like surprised, like we're ending well. It feels like everyone's fulfilled with the amount of networking they got to do.
Yes.
And I think that was that event
because there was a pre-networking and a post-networking. That is what actually made it work. Because like I remember we had a buffer of 20 minutes before we started the actual event, and that I think did the trick for us this time.
I think so.
Yeah. Also, Kasey, you didn't have photos from the last events. Okay, this is what we started to do recently. Also, we started to realize like what food works on the events. And we have now, changed the way we network in the post sessions as well. So this has happened over the last year. Come on.
Maybe we should try to buy a DSLR and get someone to
or we should hire a photographer.
We should probably find a photographer, to be honest. We have a few photographer friends that could just come in and also do it for us, to be honest.
Anybody who's interested, leave us a comment.
100%. 100%. But yeah, I mean, tangent over about that one, because like I feel like over the years we'll keep learning and experimenting, right, with different things. But I think there's also a certain aspect, not to change the topic too much, but like I don't know what it is, to be honest, but there is a good amount of people returning, right?
Yes.
Just like you said.
Yes. I found so many mentees from the group who just saw, because they're like, okay, we've seen you talk about a certain topic, we want help. And that just one conversation leads to like multiple sessions where I'm actually taking out time apart from my full-time work to help them through something. Even you, Kasey, like how can we forget like the resume review sessions that you have held so far?
I remember those.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is exactly what kept me like, I remember the first time I turned up for the PM Hive event with Neda in room, you were doing the resume review and I'm like, hey, they're really helpful. Like the energy is different than what I've attended before, but definitely like, all those things where there is this element of, I want to help first from main community members. You ought to see people who are repeats, right? Because they find it's okay to tell them that I don't know a certain thing and then I'll be fine. Like, I'll get the kind of help I'm seeking.
That's absolutely...
Actually, what's kind of interesting is like resume review support is actually one of the most in-demand services. Like, I think we could definitely like double down on. 100%.
That and mock interviews in person.
Oh, mock interviews too.
In person, yeah.
Sarim, I don't know if you've ever done a PM interview before. Have you? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think I have, no. And, my story of
pray to God you never have to do one.
Stumbling into product management the way that I did. But maybe that's something for another episode. But
maybe.
So they're tough, eh?
They're a bit, I'm not going to say obviously traumatic because that's over exaggeration, but they are tough. I'm sure you've done them, right?
Yeah, but in the last year, too many. Too many.
Yeah. No, that's great. One final question for all of us before we start wrapping up, but just what do you think is like going to be our biggest goal for 2026? It's a curveball. It's not on the script. I had this set up for myself. I was like, I'm absolutely going to ask them this. What's 2026 going to entail for PM Hive for the listeners listening to this?
I think for 2026 we should aim to take PM Hive outside Vancouver. That would be my goal.
That would be an interesting
PM
goal.
Hive US chapter.
Well, yeah.
Seattle. Would be nice.
Kasey's already started the Toronto chapter. He's been the ambassador.
We'll see how that's going. We stand a chance to lose him to Toronto too.
I'm here, guys. We're good. Yeah, what about you, Sarim? If you have any ideas in mind I know we have like a whole list of like ideas for events, so we should probably definitely like tackle and start knocking off some of those ideas out the door, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, but better, faster, stronger. I think just doing more of what we're doing, maybe trying to do it more frequently if we can streamline the process, coming up with more ideas for topics that are, very, very important to people right now. And I'd say maybe giving the other two areas, project management and program management, a little bit of love and attention. I think those would be my top areas.
You remember, you two both remember Riot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every single time he comes, he's like, hey, like, great, like, need more TPMs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shoot, you're right.
Uh-huh.
Need more support. Yeah.
Come on.
No, 100%. And I'm like, yeah, we should probably try to do like, that certifications idea, like trying to dive into like, hey, what certifications like matter more for like someone who's like a technical program manager versus someone who's just like a PM, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like stuff like that, I think we'll definitely got to double down on. I'm also like, I think like with the coffee chats, just experimenting and seeing what really works with like driving engagement. The Kahoot quizzes, the cue cards, maybe something different. Didn't we pivot from the cue cards to do something a little bit different this time?
It was actually, so the Kahoot came after, and so the cue cards sort of fell by the wayside when, I guess there wasn't as much of a reaction to them, but we can always bring them back. It's
You can, right?
Yeah.
Or we can maybe try to introduce a new icebreaker method. Who knows?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
or we could do the same as we did in the start, like, have different people, review different resumes or help with like, how do I say this? I saw this back in India, like, how you have speed dating. You have speed engagement as well. Like talk to everybody just like for 30 seconds and then, that keeps the room going.
Speed networking, right?
Yeah.
Obviously I think we probably got to be careful of the word networking there because like we kind of want to try to make it casual.
Exactly. That's why I didn't use it. And I'm like, make people talk for 30 seconds and move on. Yeah.
Definitely. Then, some sort of something that helps exactly like that. Something that helps to break the ice and connect people. I've seen everything from handing out playing cards and asking people to match with their own numbers to like, a certain color, or handing everyone like some sort of cue for an icebreaker, maybe having, stickers of different colors for different roles or different areas of interest for people. So yeah, lots of ideas out there, and we're going to be experimenting, but I'd say, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to
leave us a
reach
comment
out to us. Yeah.
And then, Divya, you and I have gone through hundreds of PM interviews. So I'm thinking maybe sometime this year, we also do some sort of event to support with PM mock interviews.
Yes.
I also think that's interesting because PM interviews are changing and evolving a little bit.
Yes.
The typical product sense questions that people used to ask.
And now they have system design round 2, which is very different than
different.
Yeah.
Over the last kind of like year or so, when I've done PM interviews, it's gone all over the place. Before, it's just a lot of product sense interviews. Now it feels like they give you a take home assignment, right? And they'll walk you through the take home assignment, or you have to create a presentation about something that you've worked on before.
And the presentation has to have 3 things, like what do you think about the flow? What do you think about the data of the flow?
The process.
What do you think about the process, the breakdown? And I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't even pay me for the 80 hours I spent doing this. So, I mean, right? So we ought to make it easier for our people in community.
Yeah. I think some places, like, I don't know if you know this, the competitor of Expedia, Hopper. When I interviewed with them a while back, I ended up obviously never getting it. But then like they made me do the take home assignment. That take home assignment was like, it was freaking like 10 questions, man. It was so long. It took me like 10 hours. Okay, no, maybe not 10 hours. I'm exaggerating. Probably like 5 hours, right? But then as a thank you for doing it, they gave me $100 of travel credits on the Hopper app.
Oh, nice.
Thank God, something in return.
Right?
Yeah, something
Otherwise,
in return.
like, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's so underrated. But you know, the week that you're preparing for that interview, who's paying for the dinner you're ordering every night because you're doing it after the work, right?
Yeah. Sarim, I feel like you're getting a preview of what PM interviews are like.
I'm not sure I want to be a PM anymore. Just kidding.
Come
just
on,
kidding.
you have to be in the community. You
it's
maintain
my
the
life.
title. You better maintain the title.
I live and breathe PM and cyber. So
for sure.
Definitely going to stay in this intersection for a long time.
So for the listeners, get excited for mock interview support, more resume review support, and then one final thing that was on that list, but the books, some sort of like book club event. I remember we brainstormed about like PM books and like maybe stuff to read and chat about. Yeah. Something related to that might be maybe better suited a little bit for the summer, but we'll see. Yeah. All right, cool. We're going to wrap this up, but before we wrap this up, I just want to give Sarim and Divya and myself just one final word for the audience before we wrap up. Y'all want to say anything else before we finish?
Like, subscribe, share.
Sarim, what about you?
I just want to say to everyone, you know, who's been to our events, especially people who keep coming to our events and who have become part of the core community, and you know, who in turn bring in more people and spread that sort of warmth and that connection that maybe the three of us alone can't, you know, necessarily do that same level of to the same level of effectiveness. And just want to say thank you, and of course, thank you for listening to my rant today too. That's it.
For sure. And just to let everyone know, we're going to continuously release more PM Hive episodes for the podcast this year. I know we kind of gave into a hiatus last year. This year is going to be different. We're going to release every month. There's going to be a new PM Hive podcast episode every month. We're going to have a new guest who is either a PM or a senior PM, or maybe a TPM or program manager
or
who
a
can
co-founder.
Or a co-founder, a founder. Talking about their specific experiences, so that we kind of diversify a lot of the conversations and themes of our podcast to really make it stand out. And thank you so much for listening. It's been a pleasure to rant to a microphone for the last hour and a half.
Right.